Good afternoon, greetings and salutations, and of course, Happy New Year. Yes, we finally made it to 2022. We're here, and I'm delighted that you're here. If you're new here, put in new in the comments below. We're streaming live through YouTube as well as Facebook and Twitter. Yes, I've decided to go back to Twitter. I keep saying that time and all the time. It's because Twitter keeps changing its mind, and I also reserve the right to change mine. Well, speaking of change, that's one of the things I want to talk about today. I want to talk about what is in store for 2022. Many of you may be thinking, this guy's a fool. Why would he even attempt to predict what's new or what is coming for 2022? Well, I have to agree that yes, only a fool would attempt to make any sort of prediction about anything at all, let alone shaving and, grooming supplies. We've got who we got here? Leon. Hello. Happy New Year to you, Leon. Thanks for joining us on the live. It's very nice of you to do that. So, Gargi, Happy New Year. Nice to see you on the live. And Paul, you made it. See, you don't need a note. You're here. You're here on time. Are you comfy sitting here on the dashboard of the car? Is that where I'm sitting on the dashboard of the car? I hope you've pulled over and you're watching this, or you might be just listening to it, which I think is a safer option. As I said, and I've said it time and time again, I have a wonderful face for radio. So you can just listen to the voice and don't worry about anything else. CDL. Wow, this is very cryptic. All these abbreviations and things. CDL. Happy New Year, CDL. I know who CDL is. I hope you're well, Costa. I know you're doing well because your shaving regime has been shared far and wide in this country. If you're sharing news or your views about shaving, which I think is more important than talking about any particular business or anything like that, tell people how you're enjoying it. Tell people how it's making a difference in your life, because I know it is. Okay, it made a difference in my life. There's no reason why, if it made a difference in my life, that it's not going to make a difference in yours. Now, speaking of differences, I hope and trust that you're all well, but I also hope and trust that this year, although we're sort of, what is it, the 19th of January, so I've decided to take a big bite of the apple, the January apple, make sure that it was safe to come out. I'm hoping that this year will be a little less challenging than last year was. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think anyone knows, to be honest. I think people, have become rather fatigued by the whole thing. It can be quite challenging to think about what it is you're going to eat for dinner, let alone what's going to happen this year. Always look forward to my next shave. Yes, I know you do, Costa de Love, because this has changed your life, and I know that Costa was having some real issues with a 5 o'clock shadow. He'd shave at 8 o'clock in the morning, and by 8:15, he reported to me in confidence. He said, "Please don't tell this to anyone." He would have a 5 o'clock shadow by 8:15 a.m. So he would shave at 8 a.m. and then there'd be a 5 o'clock shadow by 8:15 a.m. Yes. Anyway, So we're also going to look at product spotlight, and I'm going to continue doing that. I'm going to talk about a product that I think is worthy of your attention, or your maybe it could be a cautionary tale. I don't know. It could be any of those things. If you have any questions or any comments that you'd like to make, feel free to do that below. I really the success of this format, of course, relies on interaction with you. I don't want to just be a talking head. I have other things to contend with in my life. I don't want to be just a talking head. So if you want to share your experiences, please do. If you want to ask any questions about anything in particular, well, even on topic, what you think is going to happen this year in terms of the shaving world, and I don't want to talk about other things. I mean, we've got other challenges, as I said. If you think you know where all this may be heading, perhaps, I welcome your comments. I've got some ideas about where I think all this might be going in terms of the wet shaving and the grooming thing, and I will discuss these with you this evening very briefly. Again, I'm not Nostradamus, and I'm not willing to make predictions or put the house on it. I won't say, look, this is precisely what's going to happen. But I have a sneaking suspicion that there are a number of factors that have come together and will probably precipitate a number of things that may occur. Do we have any comments here? Who have we got? Yes. Con, my husband enjoys using Edwin Jagger shave soap, but are there better brands than that? Yes. Okay. So there are lots and lots of brands of shaving soap. It's interesting. I had a gentleman call me yesterday asking if he could have a triple pack of Edwin Jagger shaving soap. He lives by it, loves it, absolutely loves it. And look, it's a good soap. Is it the best on the market? I would never say anything is the best on the market because I know that it's a trap. The minute you say something is the best on the market, something else emerges, appears almost mystically, or someone puts something in your hand and says, listen, try this. And then you think, God, I have to eat my words now, because really the best is just it's folly. I would certainly give artisan soaps a try. For example, one of the soaps that we're currently carrying, because we can, more about that in a moment, is Oaken Lab. So you'll get a really, really good lather out of it, but it's also selling fast. That's the other thing, because of availability of stock due to freight supplies and all sorts of things. So yes, there are certainly other soaps. There are creams that you can investigate. I mean, there might be things that could be, you might want to change it up by not going with a hard soap and going with a cream, and Edwin Jagger does those. Tobacco, which I absolutely adore. I know the scent takes a lot of getting used to. And I've said many, many times on this particular live that I detested that scent when I was a young fellow because I thought it smelt like old man. I am now that man. Yeah, I'm now that man. I'm officially now that older man that wears Tobacco Original, founded in 1959. Beautiful soap, great performance. If the scent isn't a problem, look no further. It's a wonderful soap. So there are a couple of suggestions there. What is important, though, is that your husband is enjoying his shaves. I love that. I love that. I love it. I love it. I mean, I get excited about that sort of stuff because I know that improves a facet of people's lives when they do this, both men and women, I have to say. Both men and women. I hope that assists. So yes, I will try artisan soaps, but I'll also try something like Tobacco, or even, as I said, something like Oaken Lab. Right. Without further ado, my predictions for this year. Well, I can't see the supply chain issues being resolved anytime soon. What do I mean? I can't see that in 2 or 3, 4 weeks or 5 weeks that the challenges that business faces due to logistics and international freight and all the rest of it is going to go away anytime soon. I think this problem is a deep problem. It is a problem that has moved across a lot of market sectors in retail or whatever, and people just can't get stuff, right? And if they can get stuff, it's really, really expensive. I've made a video of this, and I put this on the website as well, telling people, look, please, I don't want to lead people up the garden path and tell them, oh yeah, you can get this, we'll get that. I'm just not interested. I could bring products in here and the prices would be rude. They'd be offensive to make it economically viable. I get contacted by artisans, and I also get contacted by people that make brushes and razors and all these sorts of things with the best intentions in the world. Please, I'd like to work with you. Can we get our products in there? And I say, well, okay, that's fine. But by the time the product arrives here, it has become so expensive that for me to be able to recoup my costs and eat a meat pie at lunch, put food on the table, in other words, I'd have to jack the price up. I don't want to do that. I actually don't want to do that. So my first prediction is that supply chains will still provide or pose some sort of challenge for the broader business community. Larger companies can put on ships and freight their goods into the nation and across nations and whatever, multinational companies, they can afford to do that. Small to medium businesses, probably less so. So if you see something that you like and it's in stock, please don't assume that it'll be in stock in 3 weeks' time. Buy it. Just jump on it and buy. Not from me. Don't buy it from me. Just buy it, okay? I'm not saying you got to buy it from me. No. If it's on the shelf and you want it, please buy it, because you know what shelves are like these days. They're full, they're empty. They're full, they're empty. And increasingly, they're empty, right? People are running to the shelf to buy tissues and end up going home with issues, right? We're running out of stuff. People getting sick, they can't drive, all that sort of stuff. So I think that's going to be the challenge, the first thing. Second thing is, I think the bearded community will grow. I believe that people will be using more beardish products. And by that I mean oils, balms, combs, clippers, all that sort of stuff that has to do with maintaining facial hair and also getting home haircuts and all that, because of these sort of on-again, off-again restrictions and or quasi lockdowns, whatever you want to call them, right? So I think that there'll be an emphasis on that. Now, will there be new soaps and new artisan products? Most definitely. And if you can swim or walk or fly or do whatever it is you can do to get to that person or that artisan and purchase it, great. Otherwise, be prepared to pay a premium. So I think that artisans will still continue to produce really, really good quality products. I think that will continue to happen. But if you're the sort of person that gets their information by watching, on forums and social media and YouTube and all that kind of stuff, and looking for the next soap, it's going to become a challenge, methinks. Doesn't matter where you are. If you're in the States, then it'll become a challenge in getting European products or products from somewhere else in the world. If you're in Australia, as we are, then the latest soap from ABC Soap Company, unless you can get together with a group of 50 people or 30 people and say, let's do a group buy and we'll absorb whatever shock comes through, then that could also happen. I'm not suggesting that you can't get this stuff that's unobtainium, but just need to be mindful of that sort of stuff. The other thing that I think is on the horizon is Australian or local artisans that will be stepping up. I think that's my prediction. We already have a few. We have a number of people that are doing, well, let's firstly talk about soaps. There are some companies, Leon, there he is. There are many good Australian artisans. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So that is a very, very good thing. I think my prediction is that it doesn't matter where you're from, your area or country or state or whatever will have to look inward and perhaps produce more products locally to you, wherever you are. Yes, there are some very, very good Australian artisans that are producing some great stuff. It was very, very, there was slim pickings there about 3 or 4 years ago. And that probably came about, I mean, that was because this whole thing has been an emerging hobby slash, I don't know why it's a hobby. Well, it's a hobby, and we've spoken about this before. But I was speaking to a gentleman today who said, I can't get the sort of creams and soaps that I used to get in a large grocery store here. They don't sell it anymore. And I've asked them, can they get it? And they can't, and whatever. And it was a cream. It was a cream, inexpensive cream. And the guy just gave up. He said, look, I used to be able to get this here and I can't anymore. And so he gave up. At that point, I should say, here's an Australian product, or here's a product that we have that works very, very well. And increasingly, that will be the case. So my prediction is that we will go local. So there'll be more locally produced products. When it comes to hardware, and by that I mean brushes and razors. Razors, at the moment, artisans producing razors in this country are using razor heads from established brands like Edwin Jagger and Mueller and wherever else they can get them from the subcontinent or whatever, which tend sometimes to be a little bit substandard. They will put a handle on them. And so that's where that comes in. I've searched high and low in Australia for people that would make this, make a razor, for example. I've done it myself. And the costs, now, whether the engineering company or the company that manufactures this wanted to price themselves out of that particular consideration or not, or whether they thought, oh, this guy, who is this guy coming in here wanting to buy razors and get a razor made from? It's too expensive. So it was just over the top, okay? Unfortunately, and this is the case across the world, I would have to say, manufacturing is dying a very slow death in countries which traditionally used to manufacture things. A lot of stuff comes from nations other than, yes, anyway, you know what I mean. As for brushes, very, very good stuff coming out with brushes. We've got some people that are doing some interesting things. Dave James is doing some stuff. I know he's working tirelessly to try and produce some really interesting stuff. And we've had some discussions, and there could be some interesting things coming on the horizon. So we've gone from global to starting to look inward. Hopefully that will mean that some very clever and dedicated people will be able to come up with products and offer them to the general public. Of course, there are still challenges, right? Because not everything can be made in one country. We have to rely on other nations for packaging or printing or whatever the case may be. But countries all over the world have been caught short with all sorts of things. Forget shaving stuff. We're talking about things that they felt they had enough of and didn't. We had a crisis, with that diesel additive, that blue product that required urea that we couldn't. We weren't making enough of it, and all of a sudden there was going to be, trucks were going to stop. People were going to stop buying, diesel vehicles because we couldn't get this Go Blue or whatever the bloody hell it's called. And so this is what happens. When things close down, when borders close down, you've got to start looking inward or start considering how you're going to deal with all of that. So that's my prediction. I think beards are going to be a thing. I think artisan products, no matter where you are, will start to become a little bit more, it's interesting. It's almost counterintuitive. So the harder it becomes for people to access and acquire things, the more things will become available closer to them, if that makes sense. I know it does. Yes, it does make sense. So you're not going to have to go further and further afield, unless, of course, you're willing to pay $270 for 2 aftershaves and 2 soaps. And that's the shipping only. True story, right? True story. And I was gobsmacked when I heard that, but it happens, right? And so this is one of the facts of life. Another fact of life is, we have a comment here. Do we have any? Yeah, we might have a look at that. Let's have a look at that one there. So it says, my husband does 3 passes during his shave with across and against the grain and washes his face before each. He washes his face before each pass. Should he be using pre-shave lotion before each lather pass or just before the first? You know an awful lot of things about your husband. I like that. I like it. Pre-shave only before you commence the shave. Otherwise, it becomes too much like a recipe and prescriptive. I don't want to become too prescriptive. The main game is that you've got to hydrate your face and soften the whiskers. Once you've done the first pass, the majority of the whiskers have been removed, or we talk about beard reduction. It's been reduced. Now, beyond that, I don't rinse my face between passes, but I certainly relather. Please do not go over skin that has no lather on it. Please do that. Sometimes I will give my face a bit of a rinse and then reapply, depending on how much water the soap needs. So different soaps respond differently and have different post-shave feel, or even a feel while you're shaving. But there is no hard and fast rule. However, if this process assists your husband, then I would definitely stay with it. Be prepared for 45-minute shaves, of course, but that's okay because they'll be wonderful shaves. Should he be using pre-shave lotion before each lather? Plus, no. And we have spoken about pre-shave before. We can talk about it again in a future video. Some people don't believe in the whole, dedicated pre-shave lotion. Others do. Others think that the soap that you use, from the actual, soap puck will suffice. Others believe just washing your face is enough. It's a debate. I've used all of those and they've worked differently for me with different soaps. The soap is the key. Also, whether you've got hard water or soft water, there's so many variables there. There are a number of factors that need to be considered. Yes, my hubby raves about each new discovery he makes during shaving. Well, please give him my regards and my love. And if he's not watching this, why isn't he? He should be watching this. Right. Any other questions? Let us know. I think that's probably about it. Look, I said that I was going to talk about product spotlight. As I said, I introduced this late last year. I thought it's probably a good thing to just talk about one product or something. Sometimes it has to do with beards. Other times it has to do with shaving. Sometimes it has to do with hair. Don't laugh. Okay? I've got hair in all the wrong places, but I've got hair. It's the main thing. Yes, product spotlight. Here it is. Well, I'm going to take you back to 1925. In fact, it may even be 1925 prices. The product I wish to speak of today is a pomade by a company called Murray's. Now, get a load of this. Look at that. This comes in this sort of orange tin. Look, it's very reminiscent of Vaseline. It's not Vaseline, though, but it does have that kind of consistency-ish. If you live in cyclone-prone areas, or you work for NASA, or you're an aeronautical engineer and spend a lot of time in wind tunnels, or are a roadie or a groupie, work with some sort of band where you're in and out of trucks all the time and the hair needs to be perfect at all time, then this product is for you. Murray's is industrial strength, right? I'm not overstating it. I know I have a bit of a joke in this, puns and things like that. This stuff is so good, you can't get it out. I started off my day with Murray's in my hair today, and now I have no hair because I had to shave it off. No, I'm only joking. Look, this is particularly good. It was established in Chicago in 1925 by a barber for his clientele. You're going to need some time. You'll probably also need a gurney, and you'll probably have to go through a cattle wash or something like that just to get it out of your hair. But it takes time, right? You need to be patient. If you're a rockabilly or you're in a particular show, if you're doing a musical and there's a matinee as well as an evening performance, then Murray's is for you. Murray's is for you. Murray's takes about 10 showers to get out of your hair. Yes, it does. Look, it's very, very strong. I'm sharing it with you today because I'm completely I'm mystified. I don't understand why this product is doing so well. I can't bring it in fast enough. Okay, maybe it's the price point. It's only $15 or $3 if you're in Michigan, $3 US. It has its fans. People love it. They love it. Pillowcases don't love it, and your significant other may not love it. If you put this in your hair tomorrow morning and you don't intervene in some way with, shampoo, conditioner, acid, whatever it is that you do use to wash your hair, then your pillowcase will say, we've had a Murray's night. Yeah, remember that? It's hard to get out, but it will keep things in place. There's also a Murray's Light. There's nothing light about this. It's lighter. It's easier to use. I'll just show you what it looks like there. Kind of, you get an idea. I haven't tried it on the gate. I'm going to try and see if I can grease up the gate, but I don't know. I shouldn't say that. Look, I shouldn't bag the product. It's actually a pretty good product. It works really, 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 really well, but it does all the work, right? You put it in your hair and it's done. That is it. So if you're interested, as I say, $14.95. I can send you 2 or 3 dozens at a time. And that's another thing. People, they don't just buy one, they'll buy 2 or 3. It's one of the few products, I'm not kidding, one of the few products that sell in multiples. It's like, oh, look, the shelf is full. It might be empty tomorrow. Give me 3 cans of the stuff. People love it. It has its fans. Paul says, yes, but is it strong enough for the value? You kidding me? It's strong, Paul. It's strong. Are you strong, though? You need to be strong. Barbara and Dudley used to sell it back in the 90s. Yes. Well, as I say, it's been around since 1925, and the philosophy of, I think it's C.J. Murray, was that to produce an honest product at a reasonable price. And the fact that you can still buy something under $14.90 or under $15 that does the work that this thing does. I mean, it does a lot of heavy lifting. The as I say, rockabillys love it because it has that sort of sheen and it has that hold. If that's your thing and that's the vibe you want, you'd know about Murray's anyway, but I thought I would throw a spotlight on this product. It's incredible. Anyway, that's it for the product intro. Yes, and we've got one more comment. Could you do a session using a good DE blade? Absolutely, Leon, I will do that. I will actually do that because blades are important. I will do that. I think we'll have to save that for a future live, probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks. I'll definitely do that. And we've got another hubby question. Hubby works long hours. Yes. Is there a better aftershave balm than Nivea in terms of smell and soothing skincare? My hubby asked me to ask you. I feel like Dr. Phil here. There is, but if you're talking about scent, I mean, I wouldn't go past this, right? The after balm. There it is. Get my face out of the picture there. But if you want to smell nice, you've got to drop the bucks. It's True Fit and Heal all the way. They do a really, really nice balm. You need a small amount and it smells beautiful, but you're looking at about 68 Australian dollars. And you need a small amount. I know they always say that. A small amount goes a long way. It's not a sales spiel. It's the truth. But you've got to like that scent because you're stuck with it, right? Meaning you're stuck with that scent until you finish it, or unless you buy. Maybe you should buy 3 for hubby. Yes, it's a very good product. Edwin Jagger, yes, I think Edwin Jagger is very good. If you like the Edwin Jagger scents, and if your husband uses the Edwin Jagger products, as you said he does, then there are matching aftershave balms. Only need a small amount. Probably don't keep it for more than 3 years. You can, because you're only using a small amount, but just use it. Yeah, that's been my thing. Look, with any scented balm, here's the thing. With any scented balm, the scent will change over time. If you're buying this balm because it smells nice, please use it. When you look at the back of when you look on there, there's a little lid. There's a little diagram of a lid with the number of months that you should have it. Please stick to that. If it says 12 months, don't keep it for 15 months. Right? Don't try and stretch it. Please use the product because the smell changes, right? That's the danger with a balm that has a scent. Now, they all have some scent in them. They're all scented lightly. You'll always see that there's maybe the 6th, 7th, 8th ingredient down will say parfum. Please use balms. If it has a scent, please use it within the allocated time. Even if it doesn't have a scent, please follow the use by dates. No, it's not going to kill you. It's not going to become some sort of toxic, gelatinous goop in your hand. It might. It's not going to kill you, but it's not very nice, right? So use it. So if you want something that smells really, really nice, I recommend the Edwin Jagger. I recommend the Truefit and Hill. The English brands are the ones that do it. And also the tobacco. Oh my God, the tobacco balm but you got to love tobacco. Sorry, you have to love tobacco. If you love tobacco, you'll love the balm. The balm is very, very good. I use it, and I use this, and I also use the Truefit and Hill 1805, which to me reminds me of Isimiyaki Om. Very reminiscent of that. What do we have here? Can I use the Stray Whisker aftershave balm daily as a moisturizer? You must. And if you don't, you need to explain why. Yes, you can. Absolutely. Absolutely, CDL. You must and you should. It's a very, very good product. It's a great product. All right. I've rambled on a little too much here. They were my predictions for the year. Artisans are going to make a bigger splash, I think, as people start to look inward. Supply chains are a bit of a challenge, so I think that's still not going to go away anytime soon. Bearded products are going to be still going on and bubbling on nicely. That sector will be growing. Artisan brush makers, such as this guy that's just joined us now, has he got a late note? It's coming. We'll be doing some very, very interesting things. As I said, the collaborations and things like that, I think will also be something to look out for. Shameless plug as I drink out of my mug. I don't know if we've got any left. People just buy them. We probably don't have any left. I don't know. I'll have to find somewhere to get new mugs and stuff. Merch. Is merch going to be the thing? I don't know. If you're out and about, I wear a lot of merch to bed these days. I use it as pajamas because that's my life at the moment. Home, pajamas, streaming services, Netflix, Stan, whatever. Anyway, thank you, Leon. You have a fantastic 2022. You'll join us again next week. We're back. We're anything. Someone asked if I was okay. Yes, I am. No, I have not contracted any illness or disease or anything like that. What I have done, though, is I've missed you guys. I've missed you. But I'll see you in the next live. Thanks for watching.